been slagging off the lunatic left quite a lot already today. So there's this comment that I've got up and I've had up for ages, which was Fat Belly earlier on said that the government investigation into pedo gangs findings was not released. And they said it was because it was not in the public interest to release the findings. Did you see this?
No, but I know exactly what they found.
It was a big. They made a big deal out of it. What's his name? He's just. In fact, the T fella is the one that replaced him, wasn't he? I can't remember his name. That's just gone.
Sajid Javid.
Sajid, and I remember this. It was a few months ago. It was like the middle of last year or something. And he went, "This is going to be a no holds barred. You know, we're no matter what." And he even said Pakistani origin in the announcement. We're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to work out what to do. And then now they've quietly just gone, "Yeah, it's not in the public interest."
Yeah, you know why they're not releasing it? It's patently obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is because some of these people who went down, which by the way, whilst everyone was screaming about fucking tea bags, this is still going on. Kids, 19,000 kids last year, 19,000 children in a single year. It's still happening.
Martyrs to the cause of diversity.
But here's the thing. Yeah, there have been arrests and there have been convictions, and they stand in court and say they are doing it for religious reasons. They are doing it to humiliate communities. They are doing it specifically to English girls. You know, so if that's the little snippets that we get from the court documents, who knows what this fucking investigation turned up?
Oh, I know exactly what it's turned up.
Well, we all do, and that's the problem. Yeah.
But now the government have got a sticky. They've got to make this go away. No, it's none of the nationals are really picking up on it big time. But if they do get a proper sniff, this is going to turn south. Because if that news comes from the media or someone like Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, well, which it will. It obviously will. Someone's going to leak it eventually. Someone's going to do it. And the problem is with the Tories is this is the perfect time to actually do it. You know, Boris is still fresh. He's just on the edge of his honeymoon period. He's a fucking coward for not putting this out there. And like you said, all it's going to do is give strength to Tommy Robinson and the like.
Of course.
You know, because he's still very active, man. He ain't fucking about. And there's still enough blame that can be put on Labour at this point.
But at this point, what you can do
it.
Is everyone will still leap on you. You've seen it happen to me countless times that you're racist for pointing it. It's like, how am I racist? You know, I'm not going to come out and go, some of my best friends are Asians, but I do have a lot of friends who are. I have a lot of business associates who are, people, you know, clients and things like that.
Most of the people.
It's not about people being Pakistani. It's about the fact that there is a problem with Pakistani grooming gangs. But they come back with me, well, white people rape more people. Well, yeah, of course they do per capita. There's more fucking white people.
Arrest them as well,
but
please.
They don't tend to do this concerted grooming gang activity that we're seeing on these kind of industrial levels. They don't do it. The Pakistani gangs do.
Here's the thing though, man, right? You watch fucking Children in Need or some shit like that, and they'll have a whole documentary, or you know, they'll do it dispatches or something, rape as a tool of war. And they'll go to the Sudan and they'll describe exactly what's been happening here. Exactly. It hasn't changed. And the reason it hasn't changed is because we've just lifted those people out and dropped them here, and we haven't socialized them. We haven't made them English.
Every once in a while, you know, an example will be made. One will be made to serve 15 years, and at the end of that, you'll be deported. But that latest investigation in Manchester, when it was capped, turned up over 100 suspects.
Yeah.
And they were, I know we keep repeating this, but it bears repeating. The investigators were told, find someone of a different ethnicity.
Yeah, of course they were. Yeah. But here's the thing, man. And Mr. Kill C1 has just said there, if the truth got out, the people will shut down the mosques. And I think, yes, there's going to be people that overreact. There's going to be certain mosques that need to be shut down. And I'm assuming part of the report is to actually get those places and do that. There's still that one in Didsbury. It's still open. You know, Tommy Robinson and Newsnight have secretly filmed there and seeing them spreading like hate and toxicity and actually inciting violence. And it's still fucking open. We won't act
against them because it will create disorder, which means basically you're being held hostage.
But yeah, it's ridiculous though, because if it was a Christian church doing the same thing, leading to actual terrorist attacks, that place would be boarded up so
Oh,
fucking quickly.
mate, there's a pub in Droylsden. Right, it used to be a pub. It's where Dale Cregan killed someone and someone else was shot. That place is never allowed to be a pub again. That's it. That building can never be used as a pub again.
Yeah,
Not even in 20 years' time.
and you know
But
what?
for some reason, we can't shut down a mosque where some guy who was radicalised and went and murdered a load of kids at the arena.
Mm.
It can't be right. It's not even good for that community. It's hurting them as well.
Exactly. That's the thing, man. Like, I'm glad that pub's shut. I'm glad that those people aren't there anymore. Those people haven't necessarily ceased to exist, but these things need to happen. You need to cut certain things off. I believe in liberty wherever possible, but there's a certain fucking line,
Of course
and when
there
you
is.
go over that line, it's gotta be swift and it's gotta be brutal, and the color of someone's skin has got nothing to do with any of that at that point. It's insane. And here's the thing, man, right? Okay. One of the excuses for not releasing this report was that some of it's still active investigations. And it's like, well, why are we not in a world anymore where that stuff can be censored? That censor it out.
Redact it. Just
Yeah,
redact it.
redact it. Get rid of that whole segment. But at least give us the fucking footnotes to the thing.
The fact is, when that Manchester one came out, the chief superintendent, or whatever the fuck he's called, came out and said sorry. Sorry. Kids were allowed to be abused. Sorry. Why aren't heads rolling? Why the fuck aren't heads rolling because of what happened in Manchester, Rochdale,
Yeah,
Rotherham,
yeah.
down south was it Cambridge, and all these other places? Why aren't heads rolling? Why
We've,
hasn't
we've,
anyone
yeah.
gone, you are all fucking guilty?
Where's the
All of you.
arrests? Where's the fucking things? I remember, I used to know a guy. He was a copper in the 90s, and he retired. And one of the issues was racism, and he wouldn't talk to me about it. And I was wondering now, like, if this was part of it, because he was a good guy, but he wasn't allowed to talk
Well,
about,
they talk about it now, don't they, as if it was only a historical error?
yeah.
It's
And
not still happening?
as Fat Belly says, meanwhile, girls are being raped
Yeah.
right fucking now.
Right this minute, people are being groomed.
19,000 last year. What's the public interest here? What's the public interest? Because you've got me and you, we've got pretty much everyone watching this. We've got the vast majority of Muslims in this country who want this stopped. The vast majority. We've got the thousands and thousands and thousands of victims and their families who also want it stopped. Who are they protecting by not actually acting on this? It's
Because
insane.
they think there will be public disorder, and that's inconvenient and that's expensive. So, if you just have to put up with a few girls being raped and murdered and things like that, well, there's a price to pay for freedom and diversity, isn't there?
They keep it quiet. They keep it out of the way.
Thing
don't
is,
they?
though, it's
Off
going
the
to backfire.
streets.
It's going to backfire and it's going to be dreadful. And it should have been, it's like you have to lance Boyle, and it should have been done. It should have been done a long time ago so that it can scab over and heal.
Yeah.
And the longer you leave it, just the deeper that infection goes.
Well, here it is, man. There is no worse political candidate than Tommy Robinson. His messaging is awful. His alcohol, getting drunk and doing live streams and all this nonsense. The way he puts everything, it, it it's taken the wrong way by all the wrong people, and yet he still got, what was it, 45, 50,000 votes in the MEP elections.
He did really well.
Really well. It's there. It's simmering.
And you know what? His rally in Manchester, I just saw a lot of social media posting. What I found interesting was, everyone likes to make out, it's like, oh, look at all these. Whenever it's on the news media, it's some horrible fucking white man abusing Ash Sarkar or something like that. I mean, just the worst kind. When you looked at his rally in Manchester, it was incredibly diverse.
Yeah,
Black
it was.
people, Asians, Jews, all kinds of folks were there. And a lot of white people, but there's bound to be, right?
Yeah, and a few nutters, I'm sure.
And yet, on the mainstream media, that was roundly ignored. Now, I'm not a Tommy Robinson supporter. I'm never going to be a Tommy Robinson supporter. But just because I'm not a supporter doesn't mean I have to belittle and demonize every single thing that he does.
Yeah, and again, man, this brings us right back to the issue with Labour right now, because ultimately, a lot of the people turning up for Tommy are just decent
Yeah.
working class people who are not just ignored by Labour, but mocked.
You know,
It's
actively
like,
demonized, yes.
yeah, demonized, and it's like fucking people still go on about that fucking book that Owen Jones wrote about chavs and about the language we use and that, and it's like I don't give a shit what he wrote. There's what he wrote, and then there's the way he acts because he very much does it. And I'm not picking on him specifically. He's one of very very many, but he's a very good example
But
of
he's
it.
very high profile, so
Yeah,
there
and
you
it,
go.
and here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing, right? They haven't necessarily been to university. They don't work in the media. They're not obsessed with being woke and minding the language. So yes, they put things badly sometimes. They don't. But there is. But rather than trying to find the core point that they're trying to make, which is what Labour used to fucking supposed to do. That's what they used. That's what they were born out
Mm,
of, representing the working class,
yeah.
giving a political voice to people who do not have a voice. And rather than actually trying to find the message, they just mock them and, like you said, demonize them. Like that fucking woman on Question Time, the racist, as she's just been called. And she's a Tommy supporter, isn't she? They found pictures of her at rallies and that, and
Yeah.
she stood there and she's saying like, all the NHS, everything is written in several languages, and she's saying how much does that cost? And everyone's like, "You racist cunt," and it's like, yeah, but that's a reasonable point to make.
Yeah.
There is a point there. There really is.
It's
Everything
not
she said had
racist, it's not xenophobic, it's just a
no.
simple fact.
She's saying schools, infrastructure, and that. I think she put it in terms of like there is no schools, but you got to think, man. You're on fucking BBC Question Time. The mic finally comes to you.
Hmm.
You get to say what you say, and she said there's no schools, and everyone went, yeah, there is. There are schools. What a fucking idiot! And it's like, yeah, love, but the, there is obviously a strain on schools. We can't have 300,000
But not
people
only that,
arriving.
there's one really simple thing everyone overlooks. It's very easy to sit at home in your pants on Twitter and have your shit together. But when you're on TV and you got them cameras pointing at you and you've got hostile people there, it's hard. It's really, really fucking hard.
Dude, we're just chilling and chatting, but every time we go off air, I go and sit on the couch, and as I'm rolling a cig, I think of something I said, and I thought that wasn't the way to say it, like that. And not that I'm like losing any sleep over it, but I always think, and this is just chilled, relaxed, no pressure. I'm friends. I love everyone in the chat, and everyone. I'm under no pressure right now, but I still get it wrong.
Hmm.
Being there like that with
Well, it's like
mustache ladies.
people used to say to me, like, when I've been on TV quite a few times in the past, and oh, you seemed a bit nervous there. Well, yeah, I was shitting myself. I don't belong on television. Are you insane? I'm in a big building where everybody really doesn't like me very much, and they're not hiding it. So it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable, and
It's
it's
just
difficult.
This reminded me, because obviously down at the studio during the day, you have a certain relationship with everyone down there, don't you? And
Mm.
it's not exactly like slap on the back, chummy. You're the guy that comes and asks, go get Aiden in when he needs to have a serious talk. And then it always makes me smile so much that whenever I turn up with my daughter, she goes, "Hey, Dad!" she's just there cuddling you, just smudging into your legs, going, "Oh, I love you so
But I
much." And
think I
everyone's
think
like,
most of the
"What?"
people there now don't even really know who I am, so that's fine. I just turn up in the odd meeting, but yeah, that's how it